Gus Gould joins us. Gus, big breaking news. You've just signed on as the General Manager of the Bulldogs. But before we get into that, I'm sure there's very, very excited Bulldogs fans watching. Out of respect to the Warriors, what happened there first?
Yeah, it's a long story, Aaron, because I'd actually had an approach initially from the Bulldogs before Magic Round. And at the time, I politely declined it because I was committed to what the Warriors were doing and what my role was there. And I'd spoken to the Warriors owner, Mark Robinson, who's a tremendous man, he and Cameron George, the CEO. And I'd been feeling guilty because of COVID. The things that I wanted to do with the Warriors was just impossible to do. You know, we had lockdowns and bubbles. I couldn't get across to New Zealand. And finally, the bubble was opening up around Magic Round, and I went to New Zealand that week, and I've been over there twice, and we've put the framework in place for a new Warriors Academy and some pathway programs over there. They've got very good people working with them. So I sort of declined the Bulldog offer because it felt like we were getting some traction and starting to get going again. But then COVID, lockdown, bubbles have stopped, and teams have been relocated, and I haven't seen the Warriors coaches or players for eight or 9 weeks since that time. And it was just getting too hard. And I spoke to Mark Robinson this morning when this second offer came through from the Bulldogs. And, he's such a great bloke. And we agreed. He just said, look, this could be going on for a long time. You should be working closer to home. And it was going to make it very, very difficult. And I just said to him, and one of the things about this second approach from the Bulldogs was that they said, we've got no problem with you having an association with the Warriors with their Pathways program and development of rugby league in New Zealand. And I still want to be a part of that, and I'm committed to the Warriors, that if ever they need anything, I'm there for them. But it just made sense. It made sense for the Warriors, and it made sense for me too. And obviously the opportunity to come back to my old club, the Bulldogs, who I had an association with back in the 80s, and take on a very challenging role. It's a great opportunity. I thank John Curry and the Board of Directors at the Bulldogs for entrusting me with this role, and looking forward to meeting all the staff there and getting on with it. But I just wanted to give special mention to the Warriors, who are a club on the move. I'm telling you, you're not seeing it because they've had such a difficulty over the last couple of years, but what's being built underneath there will be great for international rugby league. It'll be great for the New Zealand Kiwis, and it'll be great for the Warriors. They're going to be a team of the future, and I'll be watching them and cheering for them as well. I
don't want to embarrass you, but I'm sitting very close to you and your eyes are watering. Are you upset?
Yeah, it's not so much sad. I'm obviously excited about the Bulldogs' role too, but, football's a funny thing, and, Paul was a one-club player. He probably wouldn't understand what I'm saying, but I've been to a number of clubs in my time as a player and a coach, and you kind of fall in love with all of them. I mean, that's what a football environment is, and it's the same everywhere. Football people and footballers are the same everywhere, and when you actually get in behind that Warriors organisation, look at what they've been through over the last 12 or 18 months. Get to learn more about the culture and the diversity of the culture in New Zealand and what's happening across there. Getting over to New Zealand a couple of times as I have, and talking to people at the grassroots level over there, and they need a lot of help. They need help from our NRL. They need to invest in rugby league across there and give kids an opportunity to be playing the game and a pathway through to the NRL from New Zealand. The Warriors are going to do that. The frameworks are now in place. They've got really good people working for them. We appointed a new academy manager over there the last visit that I had there, and we've got great staff. Stacey Jones, Tony Iro and Adam Blair are going to be a part of that academy. It's going to be a great opportunity for New Zealand kids. So, yeah, look, it is. That's the sad side of it. The exciting part is Bulldogs, new role, new opportunity, a big job. In charge of everything, all aspects of rugby league, and working with the great people there at the Bulldogs, and hopefully we can share a journey towards the top.
Well, Gus, GM of footy at the Bulldogs, they're a club who are financially sound. They've got a great history, and they've got a lot of expectation because they've got a great fan base. What's the biggest thing, the number one thing you've got to get in place at the Bulldogs to bring them back to a competitive team? They make the top 8 every year. During my team in rugby league, they're a top 8 side every year. They threaten for the premiership most years. They've seen a steep decline the past couple of years, and Bulldogs fans aren't happy with it. What are you got to do?
Yeah, well, I know the Bulldog club very, very well, and I've followed them with great interest, my whole life, ever since I was involved with the club back in the early 80s as a player and then as a coach. Right at the moment, our priority is to make the best of what we've got at the moment, to make sure the young players that are on our roster and playing at Bulldogs get every opportunity to be the best that they can be in their career. And then we'll take it from there. There's already been a lot of hard work done at the Bulldogs club you probably don't see. Financially, for licensed club, it's been a tough time with close downs last year, and they're closed down again this year. So, whilst they're strong financially, we've got to be careful about that. The chairman, John Curry, has done a terrific job over the last 12 months to financially get them back in a very strong state. Their salary cap is looking good, and there's opportunities over the next couple of years if they need to make changes to the roster. But all that will happen as time goes on. It's now just about building relationships within the club and me getting an understanding of the inner workings of it, who's working there, and what they bring to the Bulldogs. And it's a football club.
Gus, I know you're really big on junior development. Do you think the Bulldogs junior development system in that area has a good enough system to feed the Bulldogs in years to come? Because Penrith Panthers does. That's one you had a lot to do with. That has a great junior system. Does the Bulldog system there, is it good enough to feed that club?
Absolutely. They've got a good, strong junior league. Obviously, it's not as big as Penrith's junior league, but participation is key. We've got to get kids playing the game, enjoying the game, girls too. The girls' game is exploding everywhere. We've got to make sure that's a part of our club as well. And, you know, whatever's in the local area, we'll support it and we'll develop it and we'll increase participation and we'll set up development pathways for them in our club. We want kids to come to us young and learn the Bulldog way and be a part of the Bulldog culture. And I would imagine too that there's opportunity in country areas for the Bulldogs to have a role in nurturing kids from those areas as well. It's an all-encompassing role. You know, it's a very, very special club. It's one of our, well, it's always been one of our marquee clubs in Sydney, and we just want to return it to that level. You
played 40 games for them. You coached them to a premiership in 1988. Are there performance clauses in your contract? I'm not going to ask you how much you're earning because Freddie asked me to ask you, and that would be so rude.
I'm doing it for love.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Are there performance clauses? How long have you signed for? What are some of the details?
To be honest, I think it's... look, to be honest, I don't know. I didn't look at it before I signed it. My man, honestly, this
yeah, I've got something here for you. Hang on, just let me do it. What's your address again? What's your address? I'll be waterfront.
Honestly, this happened all last night. My manager rang me last night and he said, listen, I'm sending you something through. And,
wow.
And that's sort of evolved. And I couldn't sleep last night. I rang the Warriors first thing this morning because I was just fearful that someone was going to say something before I'd spoken to the Warriors. And I didn't sign the document until I'd spoken to the Warriors. And Mark Robinson, the owner, was just so good today. Like, he's such a wonderful man, and he's going to do great things for New Zealand Rugby League across there. And we'll be friends for life. He's one of us. He's a rugby league man. I love him.
Oh, that's beautifully said. Well, congratulations. We're so proud of you. And just quickly checking...
See how I dodged all those questions?
You did really well.
I just said that figure. We never got one answer out of you.
He's the king. Now, you're staying with us here at 9, obviously?
Yeah. Why? Something I don't know.
Haven't they told you?
Haven't they told me?
No. Well, that's wonderful.
I was going to get the tap show sooner or later.
Mate, we're all in line. I'm sure some sooner than others. Okay, Gus, thank you very much and congratulations.